kind of cleaned off the workspace here. Still got Spotmatic parts. I got some Nikon parts and my ME Superboard that I need to do something with. But we're not worried about any of this. Today, we are worried about this. It's a Minolta SRT 201. I'm cutting these little straps off because they're the worst. I buy the camera and they give me this. And it has like there's a little clip here that goes in here, but I don't have the thing that clips into here, so this is basically just useless, and it's the most annoying thing, especially when you're trying to take the top off of these things and they just get everywhere. And anyway, it's a very minor thing, but it just, you know, bothers me. It's something to complain about. So let's give this a run through real quick. For those of you wondering, similarities of this to like a 101, they're basically the same camera. Light metering system might be more accurate, but don't quote me on that. I think that it is. I think that they made an improvement in that model. So they do things a little bit differently. First of all, on the front here, you'll notice that it has this. And basically this is the aperture measuring system. Pentax, like this, has this to detect, you know, what aperture you're shooting at. Minolta's is just a little different. It's out here. This kind of gets gummed up pretty easily. Basically, this is a pulley system for a string that goes around here, around the back, to the shutter speeds here. All of that's registered and indicated on the light meter. So that's not my favorite right off the bat. I just find this, like, dirt gets in there very easily. It's easy enough to kind of like loosen up these screws and kind of get underneath and clean it off, but also you could lose tension. There's just too many things that can kind of go wrong. But anyway, that's what this is here. Here you have the lens release, and I do enjoy this. I don't know why, but I just find it kind of fun. Here you have your aperture preview. You got a self timer on the front here. I believe that's 10 seconds. Up on the top, you have your shutter speed dial. This is all very normal. This right here is kind of broken. This is very common for these to not have the little plastic piece there. I have a not broken one somewhere on my desk that I did say was clean. And now I feel like that may or may not have been a lie. That's what they're supposed to look like when they work. Here's the string system, and you can see that this one was unwound, which is perfect. Here you have measurement for the focal plane, so that way you can get accurate focus readings and stuff. You got your shutter speed selector here. It goes from bulb to 1/1000th. ASA range is 6. All the way up to 6400. Yeah, 6 to 6400. Also on the 201, it has the little readouts here on the back. You got your film counter right there. So let's open up the back. It's got a cloth curtain. The take-up spool's kind of got this weird two-tone look to it. It's very interesting. So we're gonna take this little test roll. That goes in right here. I think this is the first time I've ever loaded film into a Minolta. I don't think I've ever shot with them. So let's see if I can get it right. Dang, that's actually kind of slick. So yeah, it just like slips right into there. And I think the one thing that Minolta SRTs do the best is they just have like one of the cleanest metallic shutter sounds I've ever heard. Like, it's just crisp. It's just a really good sound. So anyway, on the bottom here, you have your film release button right there. And so we're just gonna put that in, rewind my film. On the bottom here, you have your on, off, battery check. So I just always like to leave it in off. You just push down on this and slide it over. It's fairly easy. There's a little orange line there delineating which one you're selecting. Here you have your battery, which I gotta be honest, not a huge fan of this battery door because these get gunked up fairly easily. You gotta remember that these were also released in the times when people were using mercury batteries. These compartments, they just kind of screw on, and they don't really have, like, normally there's little slots you can fit a nickel, but this doesn't have that. It just has these two little holes, which isn't the worst thing in the world. You just kind of have to figure on using something like some strong tweezers or something like that. Or if you're lucky, it's not too gummed up and you can just use your thumb. So when they work, it's great. When they don't, it's kind of a pain. But anyway, it's got a hot shoe here. The flash sync speed is 60. So looking through the viewfinder here, on the bottom you have like this little prong thing. It slides side to side, and in the middle it will select the different shutter speeds that you're on. So obviously as you turn this, it pulls it that way. And then over on the right side, you have, basically it's a little, like a little lollipop, and then you have a little needle. And that lollipop will give you the correct exposure, and then the needle is the light that you're getting. So basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the needle at a certain you want to make sure that you have your needle set up wherever it is, and then adjust the shutter speed and the aperture so the lollipop lines up with the needle. It's a whole thing. And also lollipop, really not the technical term. It's a stick with a circle on the end of it. Makes me think it's a lollipop looking thing. So something to note too, the glue that was used for the shutter speed, I've seen many models where that's become unglued. So you can look through the viewfinder and you'll just see like the shutter speed readout just like laying across the focus screen. So that's obviously not good. It's easy enough to fix, but it is common. With the Minoltas, you have your flash sync ports here. You're like looking for a first kind of camera. You know, something like an SRT might be good. I would say it's a good place to start. There are shortcomings with it. As long as you know that going into it, it should be fine. So anyway, this is my Minolta SRT 201 walkthrough. Hope you enjoyed.